Hi guys, back once again for another video, and this time I want to talk about Star Trek, the new series. Now, some of you are going, well, there's enough going around about the new Star Trek series, thank you, with all the showrunners and whatnot popping in and out of Discovery. I'm not talking about Discovery. So basically, I came across an article online about the new Star Trek series, right? And first of all, I dismissed it out of hand, because it was like, they're making Discovery, they're focusing on Discovery, they're not going to make another Star Trek series on top of making Discovery, right? They're not going to have two Star Trek shows running at the same time. That's just absurd. I did dismiss it out of hand, but then, as I was sitting down having a cup of coffee and thinking about it, I remember thinking back to before Discovery was being released, right? I think it was released, this sort of information got released round about the same sort of time as when they done the teaser trailer with the retro Discovery model that everybody complained about. And at the time, I remember this article saying that the plan was that they're going to do Star Trek Discovery, but then they're going to use that to springboard other Star Trek series set in other times. And suddenly this article stopped being so funny. Suddenly it was a case of that wild fantasy don't seem so wild anymore. Is it possible that that is actually correct? That they are going to be using Discovery as a way through into making more Star Trek shows set in different time periods that may just maybe interlink with each other somehow. And speaking as somebody who is a Star Trek Discovery fan, I mean, look, if I'm being honest with Star Trek Discovery, the first two episodes for me were shaky. It had a pretty good run throughout the season, and the finale could have been divided into two episodes just to tell a bit of a better story. It was a bit shortened, and there were shortcuts taken in the storytelling. It wasn't a great finale. It was good, I enjoyed it, but it could have been better handled. Okay, that's where I stand with Discovery. I still don't like that ship. It's an ugly bitch of a ship. For the love of God, give me an Enterprise. Oh, please, just post it through my door. I'd be happy. But as overall, I did enjoy the show. My real problem with Discovery, though, when dealing with are they going to do another show set in a different time, was that a lot of the fans' problems with Discovery could have been avoided if they had set it post Star Trek 6. In fact, set it post Generations. If they'd set it in the period between Generations and the Next Generation, in that whole 78-year gap, a lot of the problems with the aesthetics and whatnot, where people were complaining about how this isn't going to tie into the original series and how all the aesthetics are different and how they're going to explain away the uniforms and the bridge and whatnot. Because obviously, when they done Enterprise, they'd set Enterprise far enough back from the original series that there was a period where the look of Starfleet could blend, and it might even be a little bit of a stretch, but it could do it. That there was enough wiggle room there to allow for it. Whereas by having Discovery set just sort of 10 years before the original series, it really doesn't. Okay, whichever way you want to look at it, it just doesn't work. But had they set it post Generations, this whole 78-year gap, nearly 80 years of space that they could have filled. There's these missing years in Star Trek, which I think would have solved a hell of a lot of their problems. Given that, I've got to be honest, as a Star Trek fan, my favourite bridge is probably the Star Trek 6 bridge, because I think it really handles it well. It's taken everything that they had for Star Trek 5, they've got rid of all the bright lights and they've toned it down, and it's got these warm greys and these red leather pads, and that's all that colour is offset by the greens and the blues on the screen. It just looks like a really really solid environment. I think they could have followed that aesthetic through and just given us a show set post that era that would have filled in the time period. Now, what does this have to do with the new show, proposed show? I've heard that it's another prequel, but this time it's a prequel to the Next Generation. And if that's true, I don't want to see it. Because it's centering around certain characters that we already know. And to me, if the rumour is that it's centering around a younger Jean-Luc Picard, I don't need to see it. I don't need to see it. For several reasons. One, I know the man he is. That's all I need to know. I've even seen him get stabbed in the heart by Nausicaans as a younger man. I don't need to know any more about this guy. There's nothing you can tell me about his past that is going to inform me more on the man that I know from the Next Generation. If they do that, I'll give it a look. I'm not going to say that I won't give it a look. I would still be interested enough. I would just give me something new. Please, just give me something new. I would much rather see the wilderness years of Star Trek in that 8-year gap. I would even like to see more stories about the Enterprise C, to be honest with you. Or even the Enterprise B, which never had a crack of the whip. But there's a whole big huge span of space and time that I would much rather see filled in, as opposed to doing something about characters that we already know. If that is the rumour, like I said, if the rumour is true, but that's where I'm going to have to leave that. I really don't have anything else to say. You know, I know there's a lot of people that would like a Star Trek series set post Voyager. Do you know, I don't know how far forward you can keep going. I know there are people that want a Section 31 series, and I know there are people that would like to see, you know, one set on a medical freighter, or one set on, you know, a starbase or something like that, as opposed to a space station. There's lots of people, there are lots of fans with different ideas about what they would like to see out of a Star Trek show. Me personally, I would like to see Star Trek fill the gap of that 8 years, and not ever try to re-familiarise ourselves with characters that we already know. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there, and I'll say if you've enjoyed this video, feel free to like and comment on this video. Also share this video if you fancy it. But until next time, I'll see you later, guys.